Cool. Hello and welcome. My name is Rick. For those who don't know me, for those who don't know Faceless YouTube, it's simply the matter of creating content without showing your face. And how we do that, we leverage AI systems or we hire a team. So a script writer, video editor, voiceover artist. But essentially, we build systems in order to create content for specific audiences, and we leverage an income driving revenue via AdSense and digital products. So with me today, I have a very special guest. His name is Nico House. Nico, if you want to introduce yourself, a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
I'm currently living in Rio de Janeiro. I was born in New York, raised in North Carolina, spent a lot of time in Florida. I'm currently a content creator. I was doing content prior to doing automated faceless YouTube channels. I'm a journalist. I've worked in the space of content creation for roughly 10 years now. Getting into faceless YouTubing was kind of like a natural transition as I continue to do my journalism work because overall, I love this particular job. I love creating content. I love the creativity that goes behind it and keeping up with all the advancements in content creation, in my opinion, is not only good for whatever job you have, but for me specifically, being a content creator in media as the field is becoming more saturated, getting every advantage I can is extremely important.
Perfect. So let's actually get into the juice. A lot of people will be like, yeah, hey, okay, you're talking about it, but what's actually there? If you want to share your screen and let people know how much you're on pace to make for the month, just after 2 months of coaching.
Yeah, let me pull it up for you 1 second. So as y'all can see here, 214,272 views in the last 28 days.
And if you click on the revenue tab, this is when we got monetized. And from there, you can see that we
May 4th, $0. It's right now at the time of recording, it's the 18th. And this is what we got up until May the 16th, because it takes a little bit to update. But $1,938 we got monetized on May 4th, y'all.
perfect.
So no cap in the rap.
How many
It's
how many videos
it's
are on this channel?
in total. We don't even have enough for 2 pages. You use the same page. It's
Right?
what, maybe 14, 15 in total?
Yeah, so there's
Yeah,
about
it's crazy. And we were monetized before that. We were monetized around 10 videos more or less.
yeah, perfect. It's because we like I said, it's not random, right? We found a gap in the market and we utilize good practices and AI systems in order to be able to make content that people want to watch. I think people tend to neglect that side of things when it comes from YouTube, right? Because YouTube is a viewership experience. The longer you can keep someone on the platform for, and you can increase their watch page, their watch session, then YouTube will reward you. From there, essentially, they tend to binge watch our videos, which is a fantastic thing. Yeah, so if you want to share your screen again, so I want to talk through the analytics a bit more. Um, so if you have a look, what we're currently working at, we're currently working at an average anywhere between $300 to $700. Yesterday being $747. If you scroll to the top, $727. I stand corrected.
Whew.
So if we look at currently what we're on pace, the mass of that is depending on the views, obviously, but we're making sure obviously we're doubling down on these topics that are working. You're on track to make close to $7,000 this month. And how much will that affect change for you moving forward?
Man, look, that's a lot of bills paid. I was saying in Brazil, à vista. We ain't making no payments. That's bills paid. Outright. 7,000 a month is crazy, guys. That's 7,000 extra puts you in a whole different spending bracket, a different category of spender.
To jump in before the interview finishes, probably about middle of the interview now. I don't know where this is going to be slotted in. But I just wanted to give an update on Nico's channel. We're about 3 days out before the end of the month, and we are on track to make about $6,000. So yeah, the maths, we just missed out on the $7,000 just because we were tinkering with a few different kind of topics and ideation. But if you have a look at the revenue, we did a massive day of 700 and we basically did 600. And then we tended to even out about $250 to $300 a day. So we did about 200, then we did 363, 314, and then we're down to 166. And then it's about to pick up again because we've just found another topic that's going to go viral, in my opinion. So yeah, powerful systems at play here for someone who has been doing YouTube automation for just under 8 weeks now. Again, it's not a get rich quick scheme, but I just wanted to show you that this stuff works, the system works, everything works as it should. And right now is the best time to get into YouTube automation. So a lot of people will actually watch this and think, oh, it's not possible, it's a lie. And people have close minds. What would you say to that, Nico?
That's crazy. It is very possible. So for context, I have a full-time job. For those of you who don't know, like I just said, and I'm one of the best in my field. So my full-time job isn't like a 9 to 5. My full-time job is whenever I need to do my job, 24 hours. Sometimes I get up at 3 a.m. I have 3 kids. I got a wife to take care of. I got a family to take care of. And with the amount of work that I put in, with the systems that Rico has helped me leverage, I've been able to do this. We've done much better than initially expected. I really couldn't believe the amount of progress that we were able to see in such a short amount of time, just implementing once again, we're not even leveraging the systems like that maybe a channel getting 2-3 million views a month are leveraging right now. We're not leveraging all those functions because that's an investment. But just the basics that Rico has helped me implement has led to hundreds of thousands of views in less than a month. That is a true story, based on a true story. Like hundreds of thousands of views, less than a month, right? And this isn't 10,000 invested. This isn't 15,000 invested. It's a couple thousand at the most, and boom, 100,000 of views.
Perfect. Yes. So for you, obviously a natural transition. But for the average audience out there, trust me, the systems work regardless whether you were in previous YouTube or not. Because even though Nico has an extensive history with social media and YouTube, he will tell you himself that the systems we implemented for him to be able to succeed with his channels, anybody can learn them. With a little bit of hard work and obviously you being able to put the work in from an ideation perspective and also the time in for sort of creating the content for the week. Most people can do that. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. I would say that if you're starting from zero, there's almost an advantage that you have as opposed to somebody like who's has a lot of time in content creation. For example, I always joke with Rico that there are so many people that do what I do and they've had so much success. There is no way that they can imagine going backwards and relearning how to content create and using these particular systems and models. So, like, if you don't have any experience in AI, if you don't have any experience in content creation, if you don't understand the algorithm, if you go into his class buck ball naked and ready to learn, you will probably have an easier time than a lot of people because you're starting from scratch. Therefore, you don't have any preconceived notions of what's supposed to happen, how you're supposed to, a comparison like, oh, I used to do it like this, and now he's telling me to do it like this, because that stuff can get in the way at times. Rick has a phrase during our classes. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Saying no, we don't need to reinvent the wheel, and that is probably the best part about doing a class with Rick is that he's going to show you what works in the simplest way possible, really in the most affordable way possible, so that you don't have to break the bank like some of the other content creators in order to have success in the faceless content creation space. But yeah, no background needed. And in some cases, I would say, depending on what kind of learner you are, having no background in this space is actually better for you.
Yeah, exactly. Because the difference between what we're doing and people just joining the course is that I actually help you build the systems, work with you in terms of how to set them up. And we basically follow along that journey by implementing the right systems for the right place, right? So it ties up exactly with kind of my thought process around ideation and the audience that we target. Because what we do differently is we're definitely leveraging for an older audience. We want to be able to make sure that we're not just relying solely on AdSense, because from my experience, the minute a channel goes down and you've lost all your earnings, then it's completely over for you. So we're leveraging digital products, we're adding other marketing systems, and we're building almost a network of channels in order for you to leverage you want to use it for extra cash, for building and going further and scaling further channels, then you can. But the goal is to obviously make revenue as quickly as possible. But it's not a get rich quick scheme. There's definitely a lot of work that goes into behind the scenes into ideation and and team hiring process and implementing AI systems correctly. And it's not just about ChatGPT and being like, hey, can you write me this script? Because a lot of people that think they can do it themselves, and then eventually when they go off and then they've spent thousands of dollars trying to build faceless channels, they end up sending a message saying, hey, where am I going wrong? So yeah, so this is kind of it
Can,
comes up.
can I add something to that? I
Yeah,
know maybe that to some people that might sound like, oh man, that's a lot, but it really isn't. It only sounds like a lot in the beginning because, like with any good business or really any good job, right? If you're a professional, yeah, like I was a legal assistant before. It sounded like a lot whenever I first started, and then you hit a flow state and you get into a flow. And when you do the same things over and over again, you only move a couple of pieces, but you end up the same conclusion. And so eventually it almost becomes like you're in a state of automation once you start getting it down. It's just practice. That's really what it comes down to, is getting your reps in. And so, yeah, like, oh, I gotta get a team. I gotta da. Yeah, but after you do that, you do the initial part one time, and then you get into the content creation. But once you learn the systems, you're gonna be like, hold on, am I forgetting to do something? And really, you're not. It's just that it got way easier for you because you practice. So it's not an overwhelming process by any stretch of the imagination, but it isn't a get rich quick scheme. It's just like any other job or any other business that you are trying to create. There are steps that you have to take. There's repetition that you have to engage in to learn the process, and you want to learn really the process of everybody involved, even though you're not going to necessarily take part in every single part of the process, but you want to learn it and you want to be able to scale. With that comes a lot of moving parts, but like everything else you do, it will become easier, if not in a couple of weeks, in just a couple of months.
exactly. So a lot of people will think it's random, but it's not random. It's the right systems at the right time and making sure that we're making the correct movements when we see certain signals in analytics, right? Because if we're
Exactly.
topics that are trending, or we're creating evergreen topics, regardless of the outcome, if we're seeing something that has a bit more of an uptick in the Google Analytics, we're making sure we're doubling down on these topics, right? Already started launching 2 hour channels. You can talk about your experience with that.
Yeah, we're in the process of launching 2 other channels. Rico also has a system. Nothing is foolproof, but Rico has a system that will ensure that you have a great chance of not being hit for inauthentic content. So implementing trailers, how to go about that, making sure that you have a human element to your page, so that when you are collabing 1, 2, 3 pages and all three of them so happen to blow up, you don't risk losing all three of the pages and all of your income. If you have a team, you don't risk somebody else's paycheck. Like this is something that, maybe you don't hear a lot about on the automation side, unless it's a long form interview with one of the experts, like one of the top experts in the field. Because a lot of people don't like talking about their losses. But because Rico has experienced something like this before, and no one saw it coming, and he wasn't the only one, but he's probably been one of the only ones that's been open about discussing it and making sure to address it. That gives you an advantage. You don't have to learn a lesson. You don't have to learn from personal experience. You can learn from his experience, and he also implements ways to make sure that you don't suffer from the same experience. So it's an amazing system. You learn so much, not just about AI and how to use it for content creation, but in my opinion, Rico's knowledge and depth when it comes to how to use AI, when it comes to just problem solving, thinking, understanding how each type of AI kind of functions a little bit differently. Um, it can change your life. It really can. I mean, I wish I could say it was an exaggeration, but it's really not, because at some point you're going whatever. Save the faceless content. AI will be a part of your life soon. You have no choice. And
Yep.
what you learn in this class, because they have like AI classes, and these classes are going to become more and more expensive as AI becomes more and more complex and more necessary. So even if you think that this is valuable just from the perspective of I'm going to have to learn AI eventually, and if I can make some extra money doing so by learning on Faces content creation as well, even better. But whether it's for this or for your job or for your kids' future, you're going to have to learn AI if you want to be ahead, and instead of playing catch up. We've seen, especially if you're an American, you've seen how automation in the past has replaced a lot of jobs and left a lot of the older generation in the past and behind after the crash in 2008. because there was so much new coding processes and software that they didn't know how to use and technology that they weren't familiar with. And so it was easier to pay some young guy more instead of paying them what they deserve and letting them retire. You don't want to fall into that trap. And this, in my opinion, the amount that you learn with Rico gives you a strong foundation for you to build upon going forward so that you don't get left behind. Because like I said, regardless of what happens next, regardless if you choose to do this, you're going to need AI. And this is a good launching pad for you.
For sure. And a lot of this is not random. It's not luck. I've actually invested over $20,000 in my own learning, becoming AI certified, working with the top YouTube automation guys in the space. I've worked with Fed, I've worked with Warner, I've done ideation school with Leander and Leroy. So I've personally invested the time, effort, and funds in order to build my systems around making sure that when we work together, then you'll see the most success. Now, like I said, YouTube is, for me, in my personal opinion, the best way for you to make money in 2026. It's for you to be able to generate revenue in order for you to improve your life, right? So whether that's coming into YouTube automation full time, like I did. I quit my job 2.5 years ago. But for me, my why was different, right? My mom was sick. I needed to find a way to be able to make income without having to go into the office every day and paying for someone to look after her in my spare time. So what I did is I leveraged my understanding of YouTube and wanting to become a content creator and went full time into YouTube automation. I thought it was going to be a fun business model to kind of jump into and something that I really could take back that time, because for me it's a lot about freedom, right? It's not about, okay, cool, I'm making 100K a month, because we're doing 5-figure months now, but it's the freedom that you get to be able to be like, hey, okay, this bill is being paid, or this bill is being paid, or these children are looked after, or I can actually go travel whenever I want. So
Yeah, you're not locked into a single country. You're not locked into any one
yeah,
situation, which is
exactly.
very important, especially in today's world, y'all. You want to be able to have the freedom of movement because, Lord, baby G.
If you're interested and you want to book a call with me, my Calendly link will be in the description, or if you're watching on Instagram, it will be in my biography. This is a no pressure call, guys. Please, I have a lot of people thinking that I'm going to pressure them into buying something. I just want to have motivated people that are interested in making an income with YouTube, generating revenue via AdSense, building digital products, and understanding AI. Because if I'm real with you and I'm honest with you, AI is the future, guys. A lot of people are unaware of the pace that things are moving. Every week there's new models, and especially with YouTube and content creation in general, it's ever evolving, guys, right? So 2026 is the best time. The best time to start is now. And I always have people ask me, when's the best time to start? Is this saturated, or, does this stuff work? It works. Here's the proof. Someone who has been doing YouTube automation for less than 2 months has jumped on and has been able to amass close to $6,000 per month. And we want to promote something that you can actually use to actually increase your life, right? And I'm talking about freedom to travel where you want to be, and other things with it that come with that. But yeah, I'm making this video is a bit late. My hair's a bit messy or whatever, but go ahead and book that call. I have a few slots left available in the next cohort. I'm very selective with who I choose. I don't want just money, right? I want people that are interested in building a system that's going to change lives. So yeah, just wanted to add that in, guys. And if you have any questions, again, just ask them. My DMs are always open. And please, if you're watching from YouTube, subscribe. If you're watching from Instagram, follow.